Hey, what's going on, y'all? I'm Brandon, Atlanta Man Bain, coming to you live from Coach's Corner, the center of the universe, right here in Thunderbolt, Georgia. Another episode of Rubbing and Grubbing. Hey, thank you guys for tuning in, man. As always, if you hadn't done it yet, like, share, follow all our social media, man. All it does help us create new viewers and new donations into a great cause here at Coach's Corner, man. So getting right into it. As you guys know, if you've watched the show before, if you have not, it's time for the word of the day. No idea what it was a couple weeks ago, last episode of Rubbing and Grubbing we did. I have no idea what that word was. So, you know, like I said, man, if you like it and you want to play along, and every time I say the word of the day today, take a sip and play along too, man. Get some Kool-Aid, energy drink, Coca-Cola, whatever. You get your sugars going, man. Last was word of the day was man. Southern boys, favorite verb there as a description. This week, the word's going to be somewhere right up here or right down here. Every time you hear that word, make sure you take a sip, man, play along. Moving right into NASCAR news. Had a couple weeks off there, really, a couple weeks since we went to New Hampshire there, at New Hampshire to change the playoff view. But I tell you what, the news in silly season is just getting realer and realer. But before we go any further, the biggest news of the day, happy 50th birthday to the GOAT. In my eyes, the greatest of all time, Mr. Jeff Gordon, man. I tell you what, the guy has done absolutely amazing things in a race car. Probably one of the coolest race car drivers, level-headed, just lived on the talent, man. And I tell you what, that dude had a pile of it, man. 93 wins, all in the big boys. Turns around the consecutive starts, 4 championships, the domination that them boys probably had. If Effingham would have stayed there, it would have been the Chad Canals Jimmy Johnson before the Chad Canals Jimmy Johnson. So, know a lot of folks out there probably going to argue with me of Jimmy being the GOAT. Just to me, my generation, Jimmy did things that'll never be done again, but it also fell right into his wheelhouse in the lap, man. So, at the end of the day, I got to go with Jeff Gordon. That's the greatest of all time as we stand right now. So happy birthday to Mr. Jeff Gordon, the Wonder Boy himself, man. Hey, moving right in, we finally get to go racing again this weekend, y'all. Sunday is going to be the Glen, Watkins Glen. What a staple that is for NASCAR, man. So excited to get back to what we call 2 weeks. Feels more like 3 weeks, really, but basically having that time off. Hopefully NASCAR reschedules this and we got 2 bye weeks at 2 different times next year, because this is just way too long to go without a race. So getting right into that news, announced either today, yesterday, Trackhouse Racing, Ross Chastain's going on into that second car, man. So you're going to have Daniel Suarez, staying there. Turn right around, you got Ross Chastain moving in, which to me is kind of surprising. I would have figured them not only with what Kurt Busch also has to offer. Now, I don't know if there was an offer made and it just wasn't the right fit for the ownership driver type stuff. But when you got Monster Energy as a sponsor, man, past series champion, you've got to win this year at Atlanta. Man, I tell you what, it's hard to go with a guy who might have a lot of talent and very aggressive, but haven't been proven in the sport yet. 1, to be a champion. 2, to even have a race win in the Big Boy Series. So we'll have to see how this plays out next year for them. Maybe it's a longevity type thing. I definitely probably, in my eyes, would have rather had the champion Kurt Busch staying there to give me some info on what's going down in the cars and trying to steer it in a better direction. But maybe this works out good for him as well. Just got to wait and see. But that's some big news right there, man. So,
National Watermelon Day.
Yeah, man, National Watermelon Day coming up. The watermelon, man. I mean, there it is. I mean, who knows, man? I mean, it could lead to great things, seedless or not. I mean, there's no telling. Everything's weird these days. But I tell you what, man, a lot of other opportunities out there for Kurt Busch as the season goes on. I think one of the things that he's got to do is really stay positive and understand that he has a tremendous amount of talent. You've kind of grown to kind of like him here as he's gotten older. When he was young, he was very arrogant and cocky and naive about certain things, like his brother was and can be still at times. But he's grown into his own, man, and carries himself very well. And I think there's a lot of good years left for Kurt Busch. I mean, he's guaranteed to go out and contend and have really good races, and he's going to get that win. We saw it last year, saw it the past couple years, saw it this year at Atlanta. So, and who's not to say he can go out and get another one? I mean, it's very doable for a guy that's got as much experience as Kurt Busch. Different generation of the cars, different crew chiefs, different manufacturers, different teams. I mean, the guy's lived it and done it. And to be honest, when we talk about opportunities, all right, you know, the 6 car obviously is going to be Brad Keselowski's next year. We talked about that during a couple weeks ago on that last episode of Rubbing and Grubbing. But what about that 17, man? What if, you know, some things get shuffled around here, maybe not this year, but the next year? Or what if Roush decides to come back with that 3rd car, man? I mean, I tell you what, Kurt Busch wouldn't be a bad fit. Him and Keselowski had been teammates before over at Penske. So I tell you what, they've worked together. Might not be the same cup of tea, but I mean, it could happen. And you know, there's a lot of things that can go different ways. You got 23XI out there, maybe opening up a 2nd car, as Hamlin's alluded to. Got to keep up with the Joneses if you would. So they got to get some experience over there to save some equipment, man. And we talked about it on Green White Checkered numerous times. And I got a feeling that Kurt Busch could be that guy to go drive for Denny Hamlin and Michael Jordan over there at 2311. Just got to see how that plays out, man. Another guy, you know, been around the sport for a very long time, is Ryan Newman. Kind of still up in the air. He's been offered partial roles here and there. I just think we got to wait and see how that plays out for him, see what opens up, see if it's interesting enough for him to take that opportunity and continue his racing career, or maybe he takes a step back and does some different things in the sport. But we just got to wait and see. And also, I think it also depends on what kind of sponsorship he can carry with him. We've seen that in the last few years. As I was talking about earlier, Kurt Busch carrying the sponsor of Monster. I mean, it's a major sponsor, man. It speaks volumes when you can go to a new team and go, you don't have to look for sponsorship for the year. I've got it. They come with me everywhere I go. So that's kind of the new marketing clause in NASCAR. You know, we saw it years ago. It was about sponsors being with a certain team. Now we see that sponsors are carrying on with a certain driver. So we'll just have to see what Ryan Newman can do and who believes and who doesn't, and what the future holds for him, man. Gonna have to wait and see. Got weeks to go. We got 4 till the end of the regular season. We got 10 after that, and ends November, first weekend right there in November. So I tell you what, a lot of time for deals to get done, and even that, few months after that. So I'm sure an opportunity will arise for him. But moving on, another big piece of news, and this is going to be something that maybe doesn't affect everybody this year, but definitely going to affect a team next year. You got Todd Gordon, you know, moving on over there at Penske, taking a higher role or taking a step back from crew chief and just getting done with it. So it leaves Ryan Blaney in a position where we don't know what's going to happen with him, who's going to get shuffled around. And I tell you, it really hurts, because when you look at what they have over there at Penske combined between not only those 3 drivers at the moment, next year we lose one of them and gain another, but those 3 drivers, the crew chiefs as well, man. You got Todd Gordon and Paul Wolfe over there, two of the best crew chiefs there is in the sport right now, and Bolins, who's kind of growing into his own. So, I mean, I tell you what, it's going to hurt. We just got to see who they're going to get to fit in that role. And there again, like I said, silly season's going on. Some guys lose their job, some guys don't. Maybe somebody moves up from Xfinity Series or Truck Series. Just got to see what they do, man. But I tell you what, picture playoff heating up, and who's going to make it and who's not. We got 4 races left in the regular season, man. We got, you know, what I consider, you got 2 road courses, Michigan and Daytona, and to me, you got 2 wild cards. So we've all raced Watkins Glen before. If you've been in the Cup Series, we have an Indy road course that some of these Xfinity guys have raced, but they've never raced it inside of a Cup car. One, not only solo testing or anything, but also being 40 cars deep. So that's kind of a wild card. Anybody can go out and win that one, as we've seen at Circuits of the Americas. A guy that is not your typical, you know, great guy, led a lot of laps there, and Kyle Larson didn't win the race, but led a lot of laps. Rain short in that one. My boy ended up winning. It's okay. I'm cool with that. But you know, at the end of the day, like I said, 2 wild cards, especially Daytona, anybody can win it. We got 2 teammates that are racing right there for the cutoff spot, just in strictly points, and you have a guy in Kevin Harvick who is sitting within touch. So let's say he goes out and has a bad run here at Watkins Glen, or goes to Michigan, blows an engine early in that, and then turns around at Daytona and wrecks out early. These guys necessarily don't have to win to both get in. They could shove him out. Now, beyond that, it's going to get a little harder. I think it's win and you're in. So potential wins that could happen. Ross Chastain, we've seen him run good. A lot of different things can happen. Like I said, it just all boils down to what we're going to end up doing right here in these last 4 races, and who shows up and who shuts down. But be on the lookout, man, because it's getting real. So. Pause for station identification, brought to you by Coach's Corner and Bud Light, the official sponsor of Atlanta Man Brandon Bain up here. Drink quite a few of these every time I come in here, so I got to take a couple sips. Oh, yeah. All right, like I said earlier, big shout out to y'all. Thank you guys for tuning in every Wednesday, man. Thank you guys for checking us out on YouTube. Gained a couple followers here in the past few months, man. But if you like this, like, share, follow all our social media. Hit YouTube, subscribe to Rubbing and Grubbing, man. Like I said, the more folks we get, the better opportunities we have to outreach to the community, to do these great causes that we do here at Coach's Corner. The charity events and the donations and the raffles and everything else we do are all made possible because of you guys out there watching the show and supporters of Coach's Corner and locals around this community. So I say it all the time. Love everybody out there. Love the support. Like, share, follow all the stuff on Rubbing and Grubbing, man. And more coming to you soon. Like I say, 6 o'clock Wednesday, Coach's Corner all the time, man. Point standings, man. I can sit here and tell you all the numbers again and who's in and who's win and what's changed and what hadn't. Same thing as the last episode of Rubbing and Grubbing, man. Denny Hamlin still leading those regular season points, which is amazing out there. Kyle Larson's creeping up on it, which what it means a lot because you are rewarded for winning those regular season points. And if Denny Hamlin, a guy that doesn't have that many stage wins or that many stage points or a win yet this season, to lose that, gonna hurt when you re-rack the field and you get all these stage points that you actually get. Kevin Harvick, another guy, it's really gonna hurt. Like we were just talking about the bubble watch. So we got to see what happens in these next 4 before we break it down. But I tell you what, man, we're getting to a point where a bad run or two can really cost you a lot when you see the guys that have run strong, held strong all year, and you are used to being there but haven't. Really going to be really interesting to see if Kevin Harvick and Denny Hamlin, 2 of the big 3, as we propose it all the time for the last few years, see if those guys can get their act together, man. Make some really, really good momentum and good morale in the shops and get it going in the right direction coming in to the nitty-gritty. Because I tell you what, there's a lot of young guys out here that are hungry, a lot of young guys that are going to make these playoffs, and a lot of young guys that are running really good. And in these first 4 races, you could see big names like Kevin Harvick, Denny Hamlin. You can see other guys fall out of this championship run in the first 4 races, which you are not used to seeing. So we just got to keep an eye on it and watch as we get closer. I'll give my input on who I think's in and out after that first round, second round, third round, final 4. We'll call all that out in the next couple of weeks. I won't wait till the last week. I'll do it a couple of weeks in advance. But be on the lookout for that. So moving right along, checkered flag for charity, and I hadn't said anything tonight, so what the hell? Go ahead and throw me the damn bucket, Lawrence. There we go. I'll get it up here. Boom, there it is. Swear bucket. I owe it a couple bucks, man. Every time I say a swear word goes in here, this is our bucket that we put all the money raised from checkered flag for charity in, man. Everything is going to help save one of our own. I tell you what, John and Adele Henderson and the partners here at Coach's Corner and the staff, man, everybody was so supportive of raffles that we had going on in the past couple weeks for a young gentleman out here on the island that lost his life. But I tell you what, the whole community came out, they showed out, they supported. We got baskets up here. If you guys hadn't come up and got your basket yet and we've contacted you, your basket is here at Coach's Corner. I'm looking at like 3 of them now. But I tell you what, thank everybody out there so much for the support and the help in raising money for this family and these medical bills, man. I tell you what, you guys did a lot of good and touched my heart, man, and thank you guys so much for that. Gonna have another cooler full of cheer or joy or what you want to call it coming up here soon. I'm actually got to talk to John still. I'm trying to get a little special something here going for the Guns N' Roses tribute that's coming up. I will be here live in person to watch that. So we'll have some announcements coming up in the next few weeks or a month or so about that as well. But I tell you what, man, like we say, Eric Amarola won that race in New Hampshire, and I'm pretty sure we already donated in, but I tell you, everybody here at Coach is so good, we're just going to do it twice because we had some bye weeks and we're bored, man. 10 ain't good enough. Car number of the winning car, we always donate. 10's never good enough. Anything under 20 is always going to be a 20. 20 bucks goes in there to that checkered flag for charity. I know we've raised over $3,000 already here just in this show alone, not to mention the other things that we have done for them throughout the year with the other shows here at Coach's Corner. So like I say all the time, anytime you guys come up to Coach's, nickels, pennies, dimes, 10s, 20s, 150s, does not matter. Whatever it is you got to donate, round up your check a couple cents, round up your check $1, round up your check $5. Tell your waitress, tell your server, tell your bartender. If you see John and Adele Henderson in here, tell them you just want to donate to help save one of our own, man. Always great causes they do here. Not only does it help us, help the local community, man, it also gives you a feel good as well. And like I said, it doesn't only help y'all, but it helps us help save one of our own. So big shout out to y'all again. Thank you guys for the support, and keep it coming, man. That's what it's all about. All right, coming into my second favorite segment, because everybody knows Checkered Flag for Charity is my favorite segment, but coming right into the next, man, who's hot and who's not. 2-week layoff episode, man. This is a little different. It's not so much about who's on the track right now doing things, just more or less of why we're putting them together and why we think that they're going to have some runs here coming up in the future. Because I tell you what, it's getting down to the nitty-gritty, and throats are getting ready to get slit and cut in this sport, man. These guys do not play when it gets down to this last race. We saw it last year at the end of the season with Kevin Harvick trying to wreck Kyle Busch on the last lap just to get that one spot to make that Final Four or to have a chance. So I'm telling you, it's getting real. Always gets real. It always gets real before we get to this cutoff and always before we get to the Final Four. So it's coming. Mayhem's coming, man. But I tell you what, coming off a almost 3-week bye week, as I like to call it, because it feels like 3 weeks, nobody's showing me nothing here that's going to change my mind on anything that says Kyle Larson is not the top dog in this sport, man. That man right now is sitting there with all the milk bones, and everybody just wants a nibble. I promise you that, and nobody can even get one of them, man. Hadn't been as dominating as what you would expect out of him at New Hampshire in the couple weeks leading up to that. But I tell you what, man. Not only do you have one of the best road, race courses or racetracks that Kyle Larson is ever good at in Michigan. You're coming to Michigan, bro. This is his best racetrack. Ganassi, we saw how many times finished second getting wins there over the year. Guy knows when it comes late how to get that car moving and keep it wound up. Not only that, man, you're talking about the best equipment this man's ever been in Hendrick Motorsport equipment. You cannot tell me that these Hendrick Chevrolets have not run away from the whole field, man, when it's come down to horsepower racetracks, and Michigan is going to be all about it. I'm telling you right now, you might as well go ahead and chalk that up as a 5-car win at Michigan. I can promise you that. He's going to get it. Now, moving not only there, but you got 2 road courses, and none of us ever thought of Kyle Larson as a road course racer, but he's already had really good runs. Already got the win there at Sonoma, I'm pretty sure. Well, he did win Sonoma, didn't he? Pretty sure he won Sonoma, right? There it is, man. Got a win out there at Sonoma, something as strong runs at Circuits of the Americas, led a lot of laps, kind of lost it there to Chase Elliott on a pit strategy deal, rain falls, boom. Great for me and my man. Not a good one for Kyle Larson, but I tell you what, he's shown, performance. And then we got Daytona, man, where we all know anything can happen at any time. Anybody can go out and win that race. So I tell you what, until somebody goes out and shows me that it's kind of put him down kind of on a lower peak and a lower pedestal, Kyle Larson's still the man, period, man. And like I say, man, going to stay number 1 on the list. 2 for me, Brent Er's favorite race car driver of all time. I'm pretty sure they're they're in each other's DMs on Facebook. Last time the conversation I had with Brent, I'm pretty sure like these guys are like this. They might golf together. You might see Kyle Busch on the 19th hole up here at Coach's Corner for all I know, man. Favorite driver, but I tell you what, he's going to be the second guy on the hot list, man. I tell you, I've always said it, not my cup of tea when it comes to a driver, but probably one of the most talented race car drivers over the last 35, 40 years to come into the sport, man. Came in as a young phenom, absolutely dominated, had to get the attitude in check. I think he's slowly learning. He's getting there. He's growing into his own. He's maturing. Had an interesting off week, man. Was doing tequila shots with his buddies in bars and stuff, which I love. I think that's awesome. Think we need a little bit more of that in NASCAR, that, hey, man, this is my life. This is who I am. You don't like it, get out. I give him mad respect for that. Just not my cup of tea as far as when it comes to interviews and being humble a little bit. That's all. But he's getting there. He's getting there. But like I said, man, over the last 2 months, 8 races, 9 races, 10 races, these guys right here have really got it together. They've only gotten better, very consistent. We saw him wreck early at New Hampshire. I'm not going to blame Kyle Busch one bit for that, other than the fact maybe you didn't have to run it that hard knowing it was raining. That's not for me to choose, really. That's kind of a NASCAR foobar right there. If you want me to tell you the guys the honest truth, NASCAR shouldn't even started it. Should have waited till they came back. 2 really good race cars kind of got wrecked out. Probably would have seen both those guys contend for a win, to be honest. But I tell you what, all that does for this man is make him more hungry for Skittles or M&Ms or whatever it is he's eating at the time from Mars brand over there. But I tell you what, man, got great stuff going on. Communication's getting better with Ben Bashore. Team seems flawless. You got one of the best wheel men behind it. I've seen this man struggle so many years through the summer months. This is probably one of the better summers I would feel that I've seen over the years since he came into the sport that Kyle Busch has had. Ranks right up there with championship runs he had. So tell you what, he could be a spoiler, man, in that 4, or somebody you can lock in probably going into that 4. We just got to see how it continues. And I tell you, after coming off what they did at New Hampshire, going to be very hungry here at Circuits of the America. I got a little more information on that here coming up, but be on the lookout for the Candyman Kyle Busch, man. Penske, going to be a third little guy we're going to talk about on this hot list, man. I tell you what, Penske is growing now. You know, with the news coming out about Brad Keselowski, and we already knew about Todd Gordon, you're losing a couple key pieces. Gaining one that I hope in Austin Cindric. I think the kid's a really good race car driver. Do I think he is the amount of talent Brad Keselowski is? I think it's very equal. It's just going to see if he can do what Brad Keselowski did and come from the Xfinity winning and get into one of these Cup cars and compete and win. You know, Penske is some of the best equipment. There's not going to be any excuses. Either your talent's going to show in the first 3 years. Roger Penske is not a guy to play around. That's why Keselowski's not there. It came down to a little bit of a contract clause kind of in Keselowski wanted to be an owner of Penske in a way. Just wasn't in the contract and the bindings and the way that they had it written out to make that happen, and that might be Roger Penske's call, and I don't blame him at all. That's each is their own. So he's moving on to Roush. But I tell you what, with that being said, 3, 4, 5 finish right there at New Hampshire, a track that Ford has dominated in the last 14 races, a little bit better than Toyota, definitely better than Chevy. They got their stuff together. Logano came from 2 laps down to finish 4th. You're going into a place there again with some statistics coming up about Brad Keselowski and some other guys over there. You're going to Michigan. We all know that's a blue oval track, home of Ford, so you can expect Penske's going to bring some of the best stuff they have. Stewart-Haas is bringing the best stuff they have, along with the Chevrolets and Toyotas to kind of spoil the party. So I can guarantee you, man, they're coming in with that thunder as well, man. Probably other outside of Hendrick Motorsports, that is probably going to be some of the most talented driver crew chief combinations, the best, I would say, in the sport. So I would put Hendrick first. I would definitely put Penske second, and Joe Gibbs is going to be third. Now, you got a lot of talented guys at Joe Gibbs, but you've lost a lot of crew chiefs over the years. Kyle Busch has went through 4 or 5 here in the last 7, 8 years. You know, Martin Truex with Cole Pearn retiring and moving on, that's kind of reset the clock on him. And then to turn around and Denny Hamlin, Mike Wheeler, I mean, you've seen him go through quite a few as well. So to look over and see Roger Penske with Todd Gordon, Paul Wolfe, probably the brightest younger mind in the sport, I would say. That's proven. When he came up, I thought he was going to be great, and he is great. And Jeremy Bollins, just very solid. Blaney, Logano, and Keselowski, very solid. 2 champions and one of the young guns, man, that's definitely going to be a champion, I would say, before he retires. So there it is. That's who's hot. I get to talking. I'm telling you, get to rapping. That's how it happened, man. We're getting into the who's not, and I only got one person there, but pause for station identification. Whoo! Yep, let's go ahead and do that because I got time. I'm going to take another sip here in just a minute. There it is. Thank you, sir. All right, so moving right along into who's not, man. I tell you what, they came out, they got a win 2 weeks ago at New Hampshire. And it's not a team, it's a team organization effort. Stewart-Haas, like I said, I've talked about it numerous weeks and months as we went in, since almost the get of the season, other than Kevin Harvick having a really good solid run there for the first 5, 7 races. They're slacking, and I don't know what it is, even though they come out to New Hampshire and they have a really good run, man. The consistency just isn't there, and we all know when it comes down to NASCAR as a sport, you got to be consistent. You got to show up. You got to lead laps. You got to win stages. You got to contend for wins. They haven't contended for very many wins at all. They won a light shortened New Hampshire, which I really needed those 8 laps here at Coaches because I had Christopher Bell in our game of skill, and I think had I had those 8 laps and maybe a little bit of help from that traffic that was coming up, Christopher Bell was running them down. Probably was going to catch them maybe. Just would have had to wait and see. So as I said, hopefully New Hampshire gets lights, maybe turns that into a Saturday night or a Sunday night race because it is right before a bye week. So let's do a Sunday night race at New Hampshire at like 7:30, right, and run it, and then you got 2 weeks off. Kind of neat, right? Message to NASCAR right there, Atlanta man saying it. You guys listen somewhat. You're reconfiguring Atlanta, which the progress on that's amazing, by the way. It's going to be insane. I got a feeling it's going to be insane. But, yeah, so like I said, got to get it done. They got to get some stuff together, man. You got Eric Almirola with a win. You got Kevin Harvick might be on the outside looking in, and you got 2 younger guys that are just inconsistent and don't even have somebody to look up to for guidance that's running good right now. So, got to make it happen, man. Feel good story for Almirola coming out of 27th place in the points to lock himself in the playoffs. Great thing. Hopefully it helps him pay dividends for the next few years. There again, we've said it. Maybe they are just saving all their eggs for next year in this new gen car and seeing what they run. But I tell you, as of right now, they're out in my book, and they're the coldest in the sport, man. So that wraps it up for who's hot and who's not. Local little thing, always, man. Here again, my favorite little commercial we do on the show. Big shout out to my man Parker Eccles over there at Arbor Man Tree Service. Donated $100 into that raffle, man. Got his raffle tickets. Unfortunately, brother, you didn't win nothing. You would have got that phone call, man. But thank you for everything you do for me as Rubbing and Grubbing in Atlanta, man. And not only that, everything you do for the local community, man. You're my main sponsor, brother. You know it. Love you, man. Anything you need, call me anytime. But as I tell you guys all the time, Arbor Man Tree Service, man. We'll do anything. No job too big, too small. No tree too tall, man. Give Parker a call. All you got to do is, hey, man, if you got some branches that are in question, you got some trees that you just want estimate done, hey, trim this back, you know, take this out, stump grinding, doesn't matter what it is, man. Give him a call. He'll come out. Locally owned, locally operated, locally raised right here, man. Give him a call. Like I said, come out, get that done. Arbor Man Tree Service, don't forget it, man. Love you, brother. So moving right along, we're getting into the Glen, man. We're getting into the Glen. One of my favorite road courses, been a staple forever. As I got older, there's only two there forever, and it's Watkins Glen and Sonoma. And this one is really fast, man, really treacherous to drive. One mistake can cost you really big here compared to a Sonoma, where it's a little bit more about you know, your functionality and how your car handles and setting yourself up for these turns and these passes. But I tell you what, man, right here, you're getting ready to see stuff get real. Like I said, 1 or 2 left. We got one that I consider a wild card. We don't know what's going to happen. We don't know who's going to win it. Nobody's ever really been on it in a cup car. A lot of guys got experience here, and my man Chase Elliott, like I said, that's it. Go and get it done, man. Fastest road course, staple of NASCAR, been around forever. Love it. Getting down, man. Love Watkins Glen up there. Fans are great. Always an exciting race. We've seen some great finishes, whether it was Keselowski and Ambrose or Hamlin being there, Kyle Busch being in the mix. Man, we've seen Harvick, Stewart. We've seen all kinds of stuff go down at Watkins Glen. So, you know, the Elliott and Truex battle from a couple years ago was great. So, we'll go ahead and get right into it, man. My top 5, if you guys do not already know, I'm a Chase Elliott fan. We're on a road course. We're on his best road course throughout his career. So I'm going to go ahead and lock Chase Elliott in as being number 1, man. Got an average finish of almost 7th there in his career. 2 wins out of the last 4 races, man. Absolutely kills it, murders it, contends every single freaking week up there, man. I tell you what, going to be hell to pay if you take anybody other than Chase Elliott, man. 2 for me, Kyle Busch, and this is probably an honest thing and an honest thing to say. Twice as many races, if not a little more than what Chase Elliott has there. Has an average finish of 9.4, dude. Got a couple wins there, but an average finish of 9.4 over 13, 14 races there in his career. Kyle Busch might be the man to look out for here coming up. So very close, but I got him 2nd on my list. 3, this is the Vegas odds that just absolutely blew my mind coming into this, because he doesn't have the wins there, but he has a lot of laps led and a great average finish. That's Brad Keselowski. Great average finish right inside 11, 12 spots. I think he only got 1 win there, but he's led a lot of laps. And that Vegas has him 33-1 to go out and win this race. 33-1. Man, if I had $100, I'm spending $100 on that bet right there. 33-1 that Brad Keselowski doesn't go out. Probably having the 3rd best finish, 4th best finish among active drivers, and you're 33-1. I'd take it. That's all I'm saying. 4 for me is going to be Logano. As I said, came back through adversity last week. They went ahead and paid the cost to be the boss and remove that debris on pit road. Went down 2 laps, come back, finished 4th place. You don't see that happen too much in this year's sport, in this world sport. Now, I will tell you is, at the time, I thought it was kind of maybe the incorrect move, but when you go down and you break that strategy out, there again, why would I ever doubt Paul Wolfe? But I tell you what, man, do it now. You got 2 stages where you're going to be probably that top car 1 lap down. You just got to play it right at New Hampshire. It's a little different. Get that lap back 1, catch another caution, boom, get that lap back, drive your way back up there. Great job. Guys got experience here. Don't know if he's won there or not, but at the end of the day, guy I trust to come home with a solid finish. 5 for me is going to be the 19 of Martin Truex. Another guy, when we go to the Glen, contends. Seems like him and Elliott over the last few races, back and forth. About time for him to have another win here before we get into these playoffs as well. Man, I tell you what, as you see, I let the 5 car out. If we had to go a 6/5, not really a dark horse, I'd take the 5, but unfortunately, it just doesn't work that way, man. It ain't happening. Dark horses right here. Got to watch out for the Watermelon Man. Saw him at Circus of America, had a great run there. Coming back to a road course he's actually got some experience on and raced there, so expect him to have really good run. And the guy that they kind of booted out of that car, and he's going to take over next year, and that's Kurt Busch, man, a veteran. Not very many guys out there outside of Kevin Harvick has much more experience on this racetrack than Kurt Busch. There again, always a contender when we go to road courses, has developed, has evolved and established himself as a really solid road course racer over his career. So got to have him in there too. Man, I want to give another big shout out to my man Michael Carter. Such a big fan here at Rubbing and Grubbing. Actually have him live, had him live. We got to get caught up live again, brother. Got some races coming up this week for him as well. We got Friday at 3:30 at Road of America in that MX5 Cup. That's the first race. Second race going to be Saturday, 11:25. Right now, Michael Carter, boy from right here, Savannah, Georgia, is the points leader in that MX5 Cup, man. So I tell you what, come out to coaches, show your support for him, give him much love, brother. Got to get you back on the show. Let's get caught up. Let's talk about how this season went when you're done with it, man, and let's talk a little bit of future racing and what we got lined up for you, man. But like I said, much support, much love. Big shout out to Michael Carter and Coach's Corner for putting that on that MX5 Cup as well, man. That's going to wrap it up for what we got to say about the racing part. We getting into the grubbing right here, and what a treat I got tonight, because I tell you what, when I came in, this was the first thing that was said to me, and I'm very, very excited about this, man. They've been doing barbecue up here at Coach's Corner, which they do at some point in time, sometimes ketchup. No, we don't need that. We're going to dip this in barbecue sauce, everything else, man. This is a brisket sandwich, man, smoked right here at Coach's Corner. I tell you what, they've been doing these, man. If you want a good brisket sandwich, come on up here to Coach's, get it. I'm getting ready to get down on this. I'm trying to see if John Henderson might let me come up here a day out of a month and cook barbecue for everybody. I do got some barbecue coming for the crew coming soon, but I'd like to talk to John, see maybe if we can't make something happen on a very smaller scale, because this is very high quality barbecue. I don't do mass production, all right? I do not do mass production, but come up to Coach's, get this brisket sandwich. I'm going to find out how good it is here coming up very soon. As soon as I get out the show, I'm sure it's amazing. I've had it before. I know it's amazing. Take a look at it. Come and get it, baby. Hey, big shout out to PJ Zuko over there at 104.3 ESPN and ESPN Coastal Facebook over there, man. Green, white, checkered every Sunday, 9 to 9:30, getting you hyped up and caught up on anything that's happened from Wednesday to that time. I tell you what, had some things go down the last couple weeks, only made one show, but I tell you what, at the end of the day, man, this past week's show was amazing. PJ's going on vacation this week. You're not going to hear it, I promise you that. But we're going to have a lot to talk about when he gets back in town, man. But big shout out over there to ESPN and 104.3. Thank you guys. Love you guys over there for letting Atlanta Man be part of that. And what a great job PJ does producing this show, man. I tell you, it's always a blast and always going to be a blast, brother. And here's to many more, man. Big shout out to Coach Carl DeMasi and everything he does right here. Man, not only bringing you that weekly sports update report, man, doing Who's on First Base right there with Kyle Lawson, keeping you up to date, not only with Bananas baseball, keeping you up to date with any local ball that's going on, and not to mention anything you need to know about the Braves and Major Leagues going down. Big shout out 19th hole, Sean, Brent Herb. I tell you what, them boys right there, they need to get up and do it more often, honestly. They really should. They're great at what they do, and that golf stuff, man, at least a little weekend recap, something needs to happen, man. I got to get them motivated a little more. Travis and Spencer over there at Hot Grits, man, love y'all. Still got to get together. Maybe when this chase starts here in a few weeks, let's get together, do some prop bets on this sport, and launch it out there for NASCAR right there in Hot Grits, man. Spotify, iTunes, anywhere you can find podcasts, make sure you go and check that out. Hot Grits, like I said. Hey, man, big shout out to everybody out there. Thank you guys for tuning in. Much support, much love. Right now, I got a little mass ordinance going down in Savannah, but not right here in Thunderbolt, so we're not too worried about that yet. We'll see how it plays out. But like I always say, man, love your Hugwas. Kiss them, tell them you love them. Have a great evening. Tune in next week right here at Coach's Corner, the center of the universe, for another episode of Rubbing and Grubbing. Till then, peace out. Love y'all, man.